So, welcome to the daily surveillance, where we'll be checking out the markets all over the world, and updates that are happening actually all over the world. And today is a beautiful day, so let's get right into it. So, we're going to check out the markets that are happening everywhere in the world. The goal of this is to understand what exactly in the position of finance, where we're heading to, what is actually happening around the world as early as possible, as fast as possible. So we're going to be doing this every day, and yeah, let's hope we get to know a pattern of everything that's happening in the planet of finance. So let's go. Too much. You already know me. So first things first. First place now we're going to look at is the business daily. We're going to find out what exactly is happening in the world of finance. In Kenya, first things first, we have to check our homeland. What exactly is happening in our homeland? So when we look here, Sunil, this is the business daily. So what exactly are we looking at? We're looking at how KRA will tax 60% of undeclared dividends. It's always a story about tax at the end of the day. Cost of buying office supplies in government crosses 1 trillion. Who's supplying those things? Why you should go easy on prebiotic probiotic drink. Well, then that's wellness and fitness. At the end of the day, health is the only true wealth. So you better look at your health. Um, Young women's Joshua app seeks to transform informal app. That's nice. We'll check that out. So this is just a general overview of everything that's happening around the markets. Still, at the end of the day, we're just trying to see what's going on. We're just trying to get some information now before now we get into the trading, the opening bell of the trading, because trading begins at 9 a.m. So we're going to just get a good look at everything that's happening in around Kenya, in around East Africa, and in and around the world. So if anybody sees anything that that you find that is standing out, this is not me just telling you. You can also tell me in the comment sections below. So Kenyan PhD students wins award for global demand as global demand for knowledge specialist grows. Okay, let's see this. KCB posts 11% profit growth to 18 billion in the first quarter. Okay. When hard work was never the whole game. Interesting. So Kerry loses bid to tax Liberty Lives on 62 million financial. So we're gonna zero in on a couple of things. At the end of the day, the more we do this, the more we start seeing a pattern. So the goal is to actually find out a pattern. If there's actually a pattern in which the financial world actually operates. Eventually, we're going to see that not only just from the news, from the newspaper, but from the various sectors. You can see over here there's corporate, there's finance, there's economy, there's opinion. So let's see some of the things that we've zeroed in. Bank / Pesalink charges to win retail transfers. JKF spared for making 109 deposit in printing debt dispute. JKF Jomo Kenyatta Foundation, okay. Listed banks write off 75 billion worth of loans in a softer economy. What does softer economy even mean? And we're going to find out all those things. Court upholds sacking of Corp Bank manager over fraud-linked dormant account. So some of these things, okay, KCB posts profits growth to 18 billion in the past, 11% profit growth. Banks usually have such a good time. As you can see, the stocks also over here. The stock market, before the stock market even starts. So banks are KRA is going to tax 60% of uncleared dividends. Let's start with that one. So let's start with this one. It's loading over here. Okay, so Mhm. What's undeclared dividends? Mr. Adan Mohamed, a former cabinet secretary, was sworn in as the new KRA Commissioner General on May 20th. The KRA will get powers to demand tax on 60% of unexplained retained earnings and the rest curb tax avoidance from non-payment of dividends. The fresh powers to seek a piece of the retained earning follows amendments to the Finance Bill, which has introduced a minimum share of 60% of unexplained retained earnings. Yeah, that's a lot. So, that's that. Uh, yeah, so carry is coming for your unexplained dividends. Unexplained and unretained. Carry is coming for your undeclared dividends. So if you have any undeclared dividends, no, the carry is coming for you. KCB posts 11% profits. Banks always. Let's see. We're not really going to dwell so much on this. If anybody sees anything that they need, please feel free to comment. At the end of the day, at the University of wait, so she's not even in Kenya. Kenyan PhD student wins award as global demand for. When Kenyan PhD student Gladys Kemboi was named winner of the 2026 Young, it was more than a person trying to remember. So in short, this is not going to help us. This is just going to help the US. This is not even in Kenya. Okay, so next, it's good for her, but it's not like it's gonna really help us since it's in the US. So that's the only news in the US. It's good for her at the end of the day, but it's not really going to help us in the grand scheme of things. Um, so let's go. So market and finance. Um, Market and finance. So what's happening in the market? Dealers rush to for investment banking license as corporate deals rebound. Corporate deals Dealers rush for investment banking license as corporate deals rebound. Okay, gamblers to pay Talanta bondholders 6.5. So Talanta bondholders 6.5. What does that mean? So let's just remove some of these things. So what is this? Gamblers, gamblers to pay investors in the Talanta bond that was used to build the Raila Odinga would receive 6.5 billion from July on the back of 24.8 billion. If anyone can help me understand some of these things, please drop a comment. At the end of the day, there's so much that we can actually see that we don't understand. So if somebody says the Talanta bond, well, what exactly is the Talanta bond? You know, we can Google it right now, but we're kind of pressed for time. So let's Google it. Let's Google Talanta bond. If anything, we're going to learn something today. Talanta bond, Kenya. The Talanta bond refers to the Lindsay 003 infrastructure asset-backed security listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. It successfully raised 44.7 billion specifically to fund infrastructure asset-backed security. So I remember there's a time I learned that the welfare fund is a government fund that's used to make investments for the people. Though an infrastructure asset-backed security is a fixed income financial instrument whose payments are collateralized by future cash flows of a specific the payments of this bond. So in short, The payment of this bond is going to be the cash flow of the Talanta Stadium, governments or projects or so. That means that gamblers should pay Talanta bondholders 6.5. So when they say gambling, what exactly does that mean? Your comment, if anybody can make sense of this, just comment down below. At the end of the day, this is all for you. We're doing all this just for, I'm doing all this so that I can learn and you can learn also. At the end of the day, learning is more important in the first step to knowing about finance. So dealers rush for investment banking license as corporate deals rebound. Okay, there's so much information that honestly I think we're just going to zero in on one or two, and then now move to the next. Kenya's export earnings from UAE fall sharply. By the way, I remember there's a time they said that there's zero duty on exports to China. So if anybody is exporting to China, I'd really like to hear on how that has gone. Kakuzi targets 202 acres of blueberries by 2029 in commercial expansion. I wonder what that will do for the stock. Kenya's export earnings from UAE fall sharply. We've already seen that. Rice overtakes wheat in Kenya's cereal import bill. Maize imports jump 51% after duty-free yellow grain window. Oh man, there's so many things here that we're not actually the thing I'm actually saying is that we're doing more imports than exports. The exports are going down and the imports are going higher. So 27 banks snub new central bank loans pricing formula. Okay. I don't know what that's about, but we're gonna check. We're gonna go in depth in this. Banks charges premium for up to 16.57%. On excess of 2 trillion. Hey, banks sit on excess of 2 trillion shillings. Commercial banks are holding up to 2 trillion shillings in excess cash, indicating that workers and businesses are preferring passive income over investing in enterprises that would generate jobs. Honestly, I think it's because of the elections last year. People are just sitting on their cash. People are so uncertain about the elections next year, especially for the peace and safety. It's something that actually should be said. Guys are just worried about their safety because the elections are next year, so they'd rather just put their money in the bank, and maybe even transfer it to Single. So what's happening in the regional news? The regional news: EFTA lists 33 billion bonds on DSC after to 20% subscription. EFTA lists 33%. Let's see the big one. This is the big news. That explores biometric ticketing system for Dar es Salaam. Things are happening in Dar es Salaam also. So, okay. What is this? ETFA. What's ETFA? Equity for Tanzania Limited. Equity for Tanzania Limited has listed its corporate bond for the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange after raising 33.4 billion. Actually, it's good to know that the stock exchange in Dar es Salaam is still ongoing. We're gonna go much more into that when you see Busini. You know, Capital Markets and Security Authority General Nicodemus Mkama. Okay. 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 Okay, sir. Let's go check out what's happening in this in the East African and African markets. So as far as real estate agriculture hit as Uganda's poll hangover fuel shock cloud grid. You see, the thing is about this financial jargon, we're going to understand it one way or another, and I'm going to be able to explain it to you. You're going to watch in real time as I understand the financial world in a nutshell. So, this is not coming from me from an expert's perspective. It's coming from me from a learner's perspective, where we're going to go step by step, just to show you how it's possible to be able to learn about this financial jargon at the end of it. Let's go to East Africa. So East Africa real estate. So polls in the real estate. Mohammed term dispute deepens, raises fear of one fallout. So geopolitically, where is East Africa heading, and how will it affect business? Kenya's growing to a halt as the fuel anger spill into roads. Rwanda genocide suspect Kabuga dies in custody. Okay. DRC and Sudan record highest ADP numbers. The war in Africa should just end. I don't know who's supplying the gears of war, but the war in Africa should actually end. Rwanda Congo in showdown over Francophonie job. Rwanda Louis Mushikiwabo, the incumbent Secretary General, is seeking a third term. She faces a challenge from Congo's Juliana Lumumba. 80 deaths at DRC. Yeah, this Ebola thing. See, there are two nurses who went back to US during the time they were infected with Ebola, and then they were found out to be treated. What's really going on here? What's really going on here? Because I remember there's a time back where two nurses from the US were infected with Ebola. They were transported back to the US and they were nursed and then need back to health. So why are we the ones who are dying? That's something that we should actually check. WHO WHO, there's something that they're hiding. That's personally, there's no way you can treat certain people for Ebola and then all of a sudden Africans are the only ones who are dying. South Africans xenophobia, Ghana to evacuate 300 citizens. Okay, I mean, I actually think we should remove borders from Africa. I don't get it. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. South Africa ANC. Mhm, mhm. Xenophobia. I actually don't even think this is something worth talking about. We should just open up our borders to everything. Mhm. Malema is going to go to jail. That's no surprise. He's fighting something that's bigger than us. So Central Africa, what's happening in Central Africa? Uh, Poplio says the world needs peace as Trump attacks him again. How is this Central African news? DRC plans first census in 42 years. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 42 years. Congo Republic, Sassou wins re-election with nearly. Uh-huh. In Congo, US mining company fights for subsoil data held in Belgium. Cobalt Metals, a US company, wants to pursue data for decisions on where to put their money. Kenyan men spend least time on unpaid care work in East Africa. What? Some of these things, to be honest, when you look at them, when you actually look at them now, like this one now, how is this Central African news? Poplio says world needs peace as Trump attacks again. So how is that news to us? Anyway, so let's go. Let's go West Africa. Um, exit Russians struggling Mali junta faces more pressure from militants. Nigeria linked syndicate behind 250 million global email scam. US prosecutors secure conviction against 25 individuals in a sprawling 215 million email fraud scheme that targeted. Hey, Ghana rejects US health deal over data sharing demands. Okay. Mali crisis tests Sahel ECOWAS blocks. Coordinated attacks and shifting militant alliances straining Mali. What? As Sahel countries turn to US, will Russia now exit? Is a way to counter the change of stance. Macky Sall courts African Union dispute. To be honest, who is actually supplying this gears of war? At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself: Is are we really that mad? You can't actually see the world for how it sees us. Because personally, anytime I see news about Nigeria, it's always a scam. Like it's like we've been pre pre-programmed. Okay, a group of email fraud schemes spanning Nigeria and the United States, stealing about 215 million from businesses and individuals. The network extended across multiple continents and used sophisticated tactics to induce victims to send money through fraudulent emails. And according to the US documents, the case exposed a large-scale business email compromise scheme targeting more than 1,000 victims across 47 US states and at least 19 countries. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So West Africa, this is West Africa. West Africa is still struggling to find peace. Nigeria is still scamming, although to be honest, people have to get money somehow. North Africa, why Sudan peace mediation is a mess. Ethiopian Sudan trade accusation as drone war escalates. The drone was still there. Sudanese journalist syndicate wins press freedom prize. Okay. Paradox of UAE role in the Sudan's 3 years conflicts. Exactly. Somehow somebody has to be held accountable for all these wars. What is going out of Africa through this war? The world's largest hunger, displacement, protection crisis. Yeah, Sudan, South Sudan. Sudan, like everything you see about Sudan is just war and terror, and who is actually funding this? You know, where what am I seeing that people like? If something is continuing this long, that means there's somebody who's benefiting from this. So where is the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? Okay, so Basi. So let's have a quick look at what's going on around the world. Nvidia lifts dividends as investors fret about growth prospects. There's always something to fret about. Asteroid mining and new billionaires. What's in SpaceX IPO filing? Asteroid mining. Interesting. Hmm. That's very interesting. Asteroid mining. Just something to think about. Samsung. Samsung. Okay, so the SpaceX IPO is coming. So, everybody who knows anything about this, the SpaceX IPO is actually coming, and well, this is something I've actually been thinking about for a long time. Like, instead of mining inside this planet, how about mining outside? And what will the cost take? At the end of the day, we have a whole asteroid belt that's full of minerals. And what would that mean for us at the end of the day? Instead of mining here, because we only have such a small planet, and there's so much resources that are out there. So Asteroid mining will be actually very good. Anthropic on track for fast profitable quarter. Anthropic on track for fast profitable quarter. So mainly the thing that dominates, I think, if you can see the pattern here, uh, the three things I actually see here when it comes to international news, or news that's coming from America and news that's coming from Kenya. One, the news that's coming from African newspapers is generally depressing. Yeah, like it's just generally depressing. There's always something negative. Like if you can see over here, the first thing is something that actually gives you hope. The asteroid mining and new billionaires. That's the first thing I see. But when you see here, the first thing you see over here, when you look at let's say business daily, yeah, it's you're just being told stories about tax and things that honestly, this is the first news I get. I'm seeing this guy. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? You know, it's just me at the end of the day. But when now you see something like this, the first thing you see is hope. You know, a future which you can actually see hope in. Which I guess it's something that it's something worth thinking about. Pentagon official Beijing visit in doubt over 14 billion US arms package for Taiwan. Yeah, well, sneaky stuff. From bitter coffee to all-terrain vehicles, Putin and Xi business. Okay, good. We're not really going to dwell so much on that. So let's see what's on the Wall Street. Uh, the American rebellion against AI is growing steam. I saw somewhere, yeah, I think this rebellion is on its fast track because I saw somewhere somebody, I don't know if it's Standard Chartered, the CEO of Standard Chartered, what's it called? Low, let me show you Google. CEO says low, let me say, low level uh, human labor replaced by AI. Was it Standard Chartered CEO delivered a blunt uh, CEO? Yeah, this is a Bloomberg post. It's actually me watching. It's not cost cutting. It's replacing in some cases lower value human capital. This is actually a very dangerous statement. See this: low value human capital. Low value human capital. This is Standard Chartered CEO who's talking like this. And if he's actually willing to say this very bluntly, what else are people thinking? You know, this guy, at the end of the day, even him will be replaced. That's the weirdest part. He thinks he's ahead of the curve, but really he's going to be replaced himself. So without making him a low value human capital at the end of the day, because at some point his value will also not make any sense. Okay, so the Wall Street, so the uprising American rebellion on against AI is growing steam. No surprises there. The Art of War, Elon Musk's edition, How to Lose a Lawsuit and Still Claim Victory. Um, okay. Okay, Xi Jinping is now the world leader he wanted to be, but it has come at a cost. There's always a but somewhere. Eh? Three people killed in shooting in San Diego. There's always a shooting in US. I wonder how people play that in the financial markets, the shootings, and then correlating some of the information. Okay, so let's just check out markets and finance. We're just going to be checking out markets and finance. So SpaceX fires starting gun on its blockbuster IPO, potentially raise 80 billion or more as soon as mid-June. Okay, that's okay. IPO jargon. The furious chip rally was petering out. Now Wall Street turns to Nvidia. Turning out the Maha chaos. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So there's a lot to unpack here. JB Morgan says sex assault allegations have ruined her life. Oh, men gets allegations of sexual assault every day. At the end of the day, so now a woman gets sexual assault all of a sudden, it's as if women are holy, but at the end of the day, who am I to criticize? Checking. Why everything feels more expensive? Why colleges are slashing MBA prices? Um, market coverage. So this is 5 hours ago. Analysts predict 2027 merger between Tesla and SpaceX. Anthropic is 1.25 billion of SpaceX data center capacity each month. I guess that's why we actually need nuclear power, because as you can see over here, people are equity partners still could be worth more than 100 billion. SpaceX staggers lockup release for investors. Musk's moonshoots pay. We're going to understand all this one way or another. We're going to make sense of all this. We're going to see how markets move. We're going to see how markets play. We're going to make plays on these markets. We're going to, what's it called? Ebola outbreak on Bloomberg. What to know about Ebola outbreak? So Yango targets 10 new African markets. It's the same as equity. Equity is also targeting 15 new markets. That's a big congratulations to James Mange. I think Maze technology where we should also go that route for profit. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Ukraine is doing better now. It's Europe's turn. Uh-huh, uh-huh. So before the trading market comes, since it's almost time before the market bell opens, we're gonna figure out this thing one way or another. Stick with me through this journey. Today is the first episode of the daily surveillance. We've just watched some of the things that we've just watched and analyzed. Just a small Elon Musk loses cases against some Altman over OpenAI and over oh, at the end of the day, I don't think even him he needs the headache anymore. He has an IPO and all that. So this is the first day of the day surveillance. We're going to check out more. At the end of the day, stay tuned. We're going to do this every day. We're gonna look at the markets and we're going to find out how the markets work. We're going to see patterns, and then from there, before the trading bell actually opens, I'm a guy over here. So then now we're going to go now to the trading now. So stay tuned. We're gonna see what more we can find out during the day. Okay, let's go.